Welcome to the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Discover with us and enjoy our holistic resources. Join us weekly on Wednesdays for our live talk show discussing the topics central to maintaining the holistic lifestyle you want. Each week we bring on leaders, product providers, and educators to enlighten and empower your natural journey in wellness. Let us begin. Welcome to another fabulous Wellness Wednesday. We're broadcasting to you live on Interlight Radio, known as the Healing Frequency. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are here each and every Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. Our website is createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. There you'll find pictures of the host. And also we have our past shows there and some healthy products if you are working on keeping your body in optimal health. Also, our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. Once again, Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. There we post a lot of great information, articles, and so forth. And you can respond if you have anyone you'd like to possibly talk to in health and wellness. We'll try to search it out and make it happen for you. You're welcome to leave us a comment there. This show is live. And the call-in number is, if you'd like to speak to any of the hosts or you have questions for any of our guests or you have a topic to discuss, 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733. Dr. Rabb, how you doing?
I'm good now. I had to redo my program here because Byron had set something up and I couldn't figure out what it was, but I finally got it just at the nick of time.
Well, you tell the youth to stay out of grown folks' business. You tell them, Doc.
Yeah, they need to know if I don't know all of this stuff, and he's the person that knows it all, but you got to leave it my part where I can get in it.
That's it, Dr. Rabb. How was your show earlier, Dr. Rabb?
Good. I talked straight through every time for an hour.
That's wonderful. I know you had a lot of great information this year, so we're going to have a great show today. We're going to cover a fantastic topic. All right, Dr. Franc, how are you?
I am doing amazing on this absolutely beautiful day. Always.
I hear the cameras in the background.
That's actually probably the ice pellets hitting the roof. We've got freezing rain here. We've got this storm that's supposedly coming in where we're going to get a lot more snow today and tomorrow. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. But that's I'm awesome. Safe and snuggled in. So,
well, any success stories you'd like to share this week about any of the people you're working with? Anything exciting happen?
There are always exciting things happening. And
we love these true life stories. Share one with us.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things that comes to mind right now is I'm working with a couple of patients where I'm working with a specific team. And so you've met David Thunder, who is from England, the amazing movement specialist. So he and I have teamed up to work with a number of different patients, and one of those patients has been getting, a lot of them have been getting some wonderful results, and so one that I'm talking to today is always interesting because she broke her wrist, so we're putting together a protocol for her, and just having David's input along with a lot of the strategies I've used in the past to help myself, because I've broken my wrist in the past. It's really great to see the possibilities for healing and how fast people can heal. And so to have, people that, of course, are going to see their orthopedic surgeon, and or going to see, their medical specialist in this case, for the fracture, and then to be able to work with them and coordinate all of our care together is always really fun.
Yeah, breaking a bone, that's always something. I always picture people with a cast and they have that hanger going to itch their skin or down in that area.
Well, this is the thing, now, in working with David, we talked to her specialist and saying, okay, well, instead of having a cast that's permanent, let's get one that's removable so that we can start to do some healing techniques on that. And David's working on some very specific movements that she can do that will help in terms of facilitating the healing of the bones and the muscles and the tendons and get that range of motion back. And we can do that where at a time when other people would be traditionally in a full cast, right? So they wouldn't be able to work on that. So when I broke my wrist, I didn't know David Thunder. So I had on the full cast. And when I had my cast off, my little arm was wasted away and it was all weak and I had to do the rehabilitation. But now, with the way technology is and with what's available, we can start doing very specific and very gentle ways of rehabilitating that so she won't have to go through that. And that will give her a greater potential for getting full range of motion back and heal faster, which is great.
Well, you tell him his new name is called Days of Thunder.
That's right. His nickname apparently is the Wizard.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So it's great to have a health team to work with, and you can really see phenomenal results.
Well, it's great to have a team these days with everything because our experiences are so different and vast. So it's nice when people come together, especially in their different countries, because some countries allow certain things, some don't. So you can really share some valuable information going back and forth. Some places are countries are a lot cleaner than others. So, and their healthcare is a lot different. Go ahead.
Well, and we all have our areas of expertise and knowledge. Mm-hmm. I'm not a medical doctor, so, I can't do what an orthopedic surgeon would do, right?
You could have fooled me.
Well, thank you. I can't. And I'll be the first to admit it. But there are areas of my expertise that I have that can help facilitate and move that healing process forward faster. And then there are areas of expertise that the orthopedic surgeon will have. And there's an area of expertise that the movement specialist, David Thunder, has. And when we bring all of our areas of expertise together, we fill in different gaps that each other are missing. And it's really exciting to see that collaboration happening.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got a very interesting topic today. And a lot of people have heard of the mitochondrial health. And we're going to talk about the 5 ways to improve cellular energy today. So you doctors should be excited.
Very energized.
This is a very interesting subject here, and this will be taken from an article that was put together by Dr. Jockers. And I like a lot of his stuff. It's very thorough, and I like the way he approaches it. So we're going to get into this. So this was called the Mitochondrial Health 5 Ways to Improve Cellular Energy. It says the mitochondrial health is one of the most important and rarely discussed factors in your health and energy. The mitochondria are the powerhouse of your cells, and it serve a variety of functions of which help to create health in your body. However, the mitochondria are highly sensitive to damage, and when they are comprised and not working properly, compromised and not working properly, you may develop a health problem. Poorly functioning mitochondria can result in fatigue, muscle aches and pain, digestive problems, respiratory problems, and an array of other symptoms, as well as an increased risk of diseases. So in this article, they want to share with us the mitochondria and their major functions. Let's see. The symptoms of mitochondrial problems and potential causes of these problems. You will learn about the best lab tests out there to identify the mitochondrial issues, and that's very important. Most importantly, you will learn some effective strategies to improve the mitochondrial health and cellular energy. Okay? That being said, we're going to take our first commercial break, and we're going to come back and we're going to get into this. What are the mitochondria and so forth? So we're just tuning in. This is a Create Your Holistic Lifestyle show, and we'll take our first break.
My name is Michelle. I am the beauty boss of A More Beautiful You with Jafra Cosmetics. What is so wonderful about Jafra is that it is an essential business and fits into everyday needs for everyone in your family. Jafra offers over 500 products within 4 departments, and they are, department number 1 is our skincare department with our 5 exclusive Royal Jelly skincare lines powered by our Royal Jelly RJX technology. Number 2 is our on-trend gorgeous color and makeup line, a must-see. Number 3 is our fragrance from the world's top perfumers. And department number 4 is our body care for the entire family. Just added is our daily advanced hand sanitizers in 2 sizes. I invite you to visit my website to see more of a more beautiful you with Jafra. My website is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. That is www.amorebeautiful-u.com. Thank you and stay safe and well.
Hello, it's Dr. Vic. Finding the right supplement for your health can be very challenging. After years of research, I finally found the one supplement that made a difference. Fountain of Life, a Norwegian spruce extract. It's simply a game changer. Just 10 drops a day can make all of the difference. For more information, visit myopulence.com/Dr. Vic under health. That's myopulence.com/DRVIC. Fountain of Life is not a cure for any disease or ailment, but simply nature's powerful plant antioxidant. Stay well, my friends.
Welcome to the hemp industry, including new product CBD-based discoveries is here. It is a smart, organic personal care option today. Industrial hemp is one of the fastest growing segments of the wellness industry and is quickly emerging as a lucrative business opportunity for many. This emerging industry strives to create products that are designed to revolutionize the way people care for themselves. These products are well formulated to produce the finest quality of dietary supplements on the market, derived from industrial hemp containing proprietary CBD compounds that help support the body's endocannabinoid system. For more information regarding hemp, nano water soluble CBD, CBD pet care, CBD choices for your complete body, and receive your home delivery, visit the Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, the Lifestyle Store. It's at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Health is the new wealth. That's right. You heard it here. Health is the new wealth. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle show. So the $1 million question is, what are mitochondria? Let's get into that real quickly. Mitochondria are specialized structures found in every cell of the human body with the exception of red blood cells. Mitochondria contain their own DNA. Mitochondria are basically the powerhouse of your cells that serve as batteries to power a variety of functions in your body. They're responsible for generating 90% of cellular energy in the form of, it looks like adenosine or triphosphate. Yeah, adenosine.
ATP.
Yeah, ATP. That's what I love. You got bring it, baby. And for assisting
adenosine triphosphate.
Yes, and then the mitochondria are located in differing concentrations in various tissues throughout the body and are designed to serve the purpose of those specific tissues. For example, the mitochondria in your liver help you convert ammonia into less toxic waste, etc. So, Dr. Rabb.
Yes, sir.
Break it down for us. Mitochondria through your eyes.
And there was a time when I probably could have done all that, but not the brain doesn't release it at this point, Johnathan, so I'll have to pass.
Okay, no worries. Dr. Val.
So the mitochondria have a lot of wonderful functions that they do in the body and in the cell. And when you actually take a look at it, I remember, we had one program on where one of your guests was talking about bacteria and how actually our body has more cells, bacterial cells, than it does actually human cells. And so we're kind of like these walking bodies of bacteria walking around. Well, it's kind of It's believed that as our evolution occurred, that the mitochondria used to be bacteria, and we've kind of formed almost like a symbiotic relationship with them and then absorbed them completely. So which doesn't sound so nice, but it's great for us because, again, they're like they're the battery of our body. So if you are into performance, if you're into sports, if you want better energy, a lot of what we do just focuses on that, the mitochondrial function, because that's where any type of, when our body has any type of food, any type of carbohydrate, fat, or protein, when we break those down to give us energy for fuel and for moving our body around, goes through this wonderful process that ends up in the mitochondria. It finishes up there. So it goes through, for those of you who just, loved your grade 11 science and can remember all that way back, that Krebs cycle that we learned all that way back. That's what that is. It's giving us energy for fuel. So it's taking the energy from our food, whether it's a carbohydrate, fat, or protein, and breaking it down into a form of energy that the cells can use called ATP, that adenosine triphosphate. And so when we're exercising, that's what we use as fuel. When we're walking around, we use it as fuel. And so there's a number of different health conditions that can occur if you're not getting enough ATP, if your mitochondria isn't working very well. And we'll usually see again, hey, we'll lack energy, we'll lack focus, we'll lack concentration. And those are some things that can happen. But part of what can happen with the mitochondria as well is as they're making that fuel source, that ATP, what can happen is you can actually get free radicals happening as an occurrence because of that process. And then you can get extra damage being done to your body if you don't have the right vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, or if there's something that's off in that process.
Interesting. It says the two major functions of the mitochondria include cellular respiration and energy production. These two functions are the main reason you need both to breathe and eat. Your mitochondria require both oxygen and air and glucose and fat from the food in order to generate energy in the form of the ATP. Besides energy production, the cellular respiration and the mitochondria play a role in other functions, including calcium homeostasis, cell growth, and the cell death. Okay, and let's look at the major functions of the mitochondria one by one. This is what I find very interesting. It's responsible for cellular respiration and the cellular energy production, calcium homeostasis, promotes cell growth and multiplication, and then it's responsible for cell death. Sounds negative, but it's got to be positive.
Absolutely. If you get uncontrolled, or if you don't get enough cell death, then you get cancer developing, right? Because cells that should die off, that aren't dying off, are a problem.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we needed to know that. All right. Support nervous system function, heat production, organs of metabolism, and synthesize biomolecules. What's interesting is on the picture here, it looks like a peanut, half open with all these little functions to it. It's kind of interesting the way they've graphed this out here.
It is. And it's also a lot of people who want to lose weight, a lot of people who are in sports who want to increase performance, and people who want to reverse the aging process. They all look at this way, this tiny little mitochondria, because it's absolutely essential for all of those. In fact, I bet you didn't know that there's more than one type of fat in the body, and one of the types of fats actually has mitochondria in it. I know. There is brown fat, there's white fat, and there's yellow fat. And most people know about the white fat. If you've cut yourself really deep or broken a bone, you can kind of see the little white bits, and you're like, oh, that's the white fat underneath the skin. There's the yellow fat, the visceral fat, which is not so good for health. And then, of course, we have brown fat, and most people don't know about that one. So brown fat is metabolically active. It's a type of fat that actually burns energy. So it's a type of fat in your body that you make that will help you to lose weight.
So would it be safe to say that the You said there's brown fat, so brown people have more of the brown fat?
Oh, don't you wish? That would be lovely. And white people have more of the white fat, and yellow people, no, that's not how it works.
The fat can be prejudice, you know.
No way.
Listen, it's,
the brown fat's got a gang, the white fat's got a gang.
Right, that's right. It's taken over. We all wish we had that brown fat taking over, because I'll tell you, you lean out when you have more brown fat.
Yeah, the brown fat came over on the special boat. Oh, we got to make this stuff fun so we can remember it.
Hey.
The promotion of cell growth. Dr. Rabb, is there anything that you have that you make or have in your facility that supports the mitochondria? Would it be chlorophyll, things like that?
Well, because everything we do basically is from plant-based. So you have certain plants that would have a lot of that in them. You have some that would have less. But yeah, all of the things from nature's garden has these types of things that can help the body in many, many areas. And that's really what I'm really trying to get my cognition back, and because a lot of things right now, in fact, I was sitting up watching something yesterday that I did a while back, and I listened to myself talking about all of these different products and plants and whatever, and I'm sitting there like, is that me? But see, that's what has happened to my cognition. It just some of it just won't release at this point. And then when I hear these things, I said, yeah, I did all of that. So that's why you hear sometimes I will pass on something, because if it doesn't make sense for me trying to talk about it if I don't remember it.
Mm-hmm. I think that, society, and me being one of them, I think we shouldn't beat ourselves up, if something doesn't work right away. Because like you said one time, Doc, before, Dr. Rabb, is, it took all these years to get there. It's not going to be a quick thing to kind of either correct it or get it on course. Yep. I think sometimes we're not patient enough, to really let the information and the new style of living work for you. And I think that's where a lot of times we can defeat ourselves. And I'm thinking about this because I'm looking at a chart here. It says the spinning wheel of the mitochondrial damage and dysfunction. So the first, it says the factors leading to damage are poor diet, chronic stress, infectious toxins, poor sleep, and aging. Bing, 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 bing. Definitely can relate to those. Then the arrow points over to metabolic instability, lowered energy production, increased metabolic waste, increased oxidative stress, and lowered antioxidant production. Then it goes down. It says damage and dysfunction. Dysfunctional energy production, poor fatty acid metabolism. It says metabolic inflexibility, and protein damage and increased oxidative stress. And then chronic disease development. Dr. Val, what do you feel about this chart? I think it's very powerful here. That is a wheel I can relate to, because everything they started with, I can relate to.
Absolutely. And, there's so much there that you could unpack. You could take each little individual section and spend an hour or two just talking about it and dissecting it. So I loved what you were kind of talking about in terms of things like metabolic instability and some of the things like the toxins. So, from a perspective of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, there are some very specific vitamins and minerals that help to support the mitochondria and help them do what they do. And so if you don't have a good diet, if you don't have good absorption, digestion, and utilization, you're not going to feel well. And so with respect to those things, we can control those. Now, in terms of aging, we all have to get older, but the effects of aging don't have to affect our systems as profoundly as they do. The globe is aging at an accelerated rate, and the effect that we're having on the mitochondria is part of it. And there are some simple things that we can do to increase the number of mitochondria that we have and make sure that we decrease that free radical damage, the reactive oxygen species, that toxic damage that can happen to the mitochondria. And certainly, one of the things that can naturally boost your mitochondria without actually spending any money on anything is actually exercise. So when you exercise, you'll increase the number of mitochondria when you do that on a regular basis. But what happens, though, if you over-exercise and you're undernourished, which a lot of people do because they're not digesting their foods and they're not eating the right foods, they're eating a lot of packaged and processed foods that don't have the vitamins and minerals, you actually can see every time you exercise and you get more of those mitochondria, you can actually increase the amount of toxic oxygen in the system. So you can get what's called free radical damage, and that could damage DNA of the mitochondria of other cells, and that could accelerate the aging process. So it has to be a balance of the right exercise at the right time and the right amount while you have your foods, your vitamins, your minerals, and your nutrients in place. And bodybuilders are really, interesting because a lot of them will actually use very specific supplements that help to move different types of fats or fats or proteins or carbohydrates, but move fuel into the mitochondria and increase the mitochondria specifically to help them get more energy, get better performance, build more muscle. And then again, the more mitochondria you build, the more energy you can get, and you can be leaner too.
Just listening to you, I figured there's going to be a day where there's going to be a robot behind me to tell me your mitochondria is right and fit to go work out.
Let's get the people from the Aura Ring working on that one. You just put a ring on and it's like, how much mitochondria do you have?
Yeah, I was watching the show Billions the other day, and he gave all of the workers a ring, and the ring, it had everything to do with their body. So when the guy was on the Peloton, the ring called the paramedics. You know what I mean?
The one ring to rule them all.
Yeah, it was reading the body. But here it says that mitochondrial dysfunction has been associated with migraine headaches, cardiovascular disease, chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, cancer, metabolic syndrome, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, autoimmune disorders, and autism. Mm-hmm. So this is very interesting. I like the fact that if you exercise, that's a good thing with this.
Yeah. There's also, just getting your B vitamins. CoQ10, which we hear is so good for the heart muscle, is absolutely critical in the mitochondria for that whole cellular respiration process that you mentioned, that production of energy and utilizing that efficiently and effectively. CoQ10 is so powerful for preventing that process from becoming damaging to the body too. And then we can look at bodybuilders' favorite, which is called acetylcarnitine. And that helps to shuttle fats into the mitochondria to help you burn fat as fuel.
All right, I want to read this section real quickly. Symptoms of the mitochondrial problems. It says there may be various symptoms of mitochondrial health problems depending on the person and which organs the mitochondrial issues affect. Symptoms become more noticeable when they are damaged cells suffering from mitochondrial damage in one organ. In some cases, mitochondrial problems only affect one single organ or a group of tissues. In other cases, they may affect multiple organs, entire systems. Those who have mitochondrial DNA mutation may experience a cluster of symptoms that relate to apacific syndrome. Okay, so though they may be present at birth, the mitochondrial problems and diseases can develop at any age. Mitochondrial diseases may affect any cells at any part of your body, including the cells of your heart, kidneys, liver, pancreas, muscles, brain, nerves, eyes, or ears. A variety of conditions, including Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, cancer, muscular dystrophy, and the Lou Gehrig's disease can lead to secondary mitochondrial dysfunction without the existence of primary mitochondrial disease or related syndromes. very interesting on this. This is a very powerful. I remember when I first heard mitochondria. Mitochondria was back when noni juice was out, and I used to be the second largest exporter of it coming out. And Tahitian noni had a part saying that the juice really supported this. You remember that, Doc?
Yeah.
You know, that's when I first got introduced to this, and it came, and everyone was talking about it. Then it just went away. No one talked about it anymore. You know?
Well, what's fascinating is I'm going to be giving a talk at the naturopathic colleges here in Canada, and going to be talking about long COVID and some of the symptoms that are associated with that, and what happens with the persistent inflammation in the brain and in the central nervous system. And mitochondria play a huge role in that. So a lot of the brain fog, the fatigue that people are experiencing, the stinking thinking, I won't call it depression because it's not right out depression. The mitochondria is thought to be involved in all of that.
Okay. Now, Doc, can you go down in the article here where it says lab testing? Can you see, to me, I think if people really understood what kind of tests to take, I think people would be a lot more inclined to do something. I think that when you go to your regular doctors, I don't think they really test for everything to give you enough to get motivated behind doing something about whatever they found. But one thing I like about Dr. Jockers is he goes through the lab testing and tells you what it should look like. And, and where to get the test, I think that's very important. But this section down here in the lab testing, if you could go through that, would be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. I'd be delighted to. I think, the first thing that I do want to say is that a lot of the symptoms that you would have when you're looking at mitochondrial dysfunction, you could have for other reasons. Like the fatigue, the brain fog, that could be low iron, that could be B12, that could be, thyroid function issues, same with if you're having issues with respect to weight gain. So I think, some of these things, we really want to make sure that we rule other things out first. Because you don't want to just say, oh, this sounds like mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondrial dysfunction sounds like everything, like if you'll notice, right?
It is true. That's what I was thinking of myself,
Yeah. So I would say, the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have a really great healthcare team around you that can help sort out the testing that you need. Don't waste your money. And make sure that you are doing things appropriately, because I have had patients call and say, oh, I heard you did this testing for my friend who came to see you, and I want that done too. And I'm like, well, it's great that you want it done, but if it's not necessary, why are we doing it? If it's not going to give us any type of help in terms of really understanding how to treat someone and what direction we should go in, why are we doing it? So, with respect to the first test that they're talking about, the OAT test, the organic acid test, that's a great test to do once you've done the basics and you've ruled out something that is organic. Because, if you're feeling tired, you're feeling like you're aging faster, if you're having brain fog and it turns out it's low thyroid function, you've just wasted your money on this organic acid test. So these are functional medicine tests that can be incredibly diagnostic and appropriate, and can really hone in and help people when they've ruled out the medically necessary tests and they're still not right. So, I've had, we've all had those patients as doctors who come into our office and they're like, I have done every single test under the sun from my medical doctor. My medical doctor's been amazing. Everything's normal and I know something's not right. That's when you start looking at some of these tests. Or if you go and see a naturopath at the same time and the naturopath goes, you know what? Yes, it's great to do those, but I think this is indicated because of this, this, and this, and this finding. So
let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Most people, they want to go in and like a lot of the naturopaths now, if you go to a really good one, they're going to go look at your blood first before they do anything. They'll take a look at your blood. They'll put under the microscope and take a look at it, this, that, and the other.
Maybe.
Is there one? Yeah, come to LA. Okay.
Okay.
That's like the thing, that's where they start now. It used to be, cleansing first. But a lot of times they start with the blood first, and they prick your finger, they put it on the glass with a microscope, show you on the computer. That's what's been done to me lately by some very influential ones, But is there basically a starter test that someone can start with to really give them an aggregate of the body? Because it seems like you want to start with some type of test to give, someone an idea, okay, of what's going on. What I normally do is the doctor gives me a blood test, right? I immediately go to the naturopath and say, look, what can we add on to this? You know what I mean? What can we add?
Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of people who are in your position where they're frustrated with their health and they just want to get to the bottom of the problem and know how to fix it. And that's great. For me as a naturopath, I'm a more traditional naturopath. I think that the human body is this beautiful, complex, unique universe. Each and every one of us is our own unique universe. So I am really, I'm not happy when I hear that there are healthcare practitioners out there, and I'll speak to the naturopathic profession because that's what I'm in, so I can speak best to that. But there are naturopathic physicians that are out there that they treat everybody the same. And they're kind of like, everybody comes in and here's all the testing that they get and nothing's individualized. Or we put them on this program and everybody does this, then this, then this, then this, then this. There are people that are practicing out there. There are holistic nutritionists out there that are kind of practicing like that, putting people into programs. I think there's probably everybody in every health profession that there's always those people out there who are going to try to do that. Whether it's because that's what they know, whether that's because they, I don't know, they just want to put people in programs because it's easier for them. I'm not sure. But what I do know from my 22 years of experience in practice and then 4 years at the naturopathic college and then my own personal journey before that leading up to it. So I got a lot of years on this one. There's no one right way of treating everybody. When someone comes into your office, you have to look at who they are and where they are in space and time. Yes, there are things that you can do to look at your biochemistry, but you shouldn't run a test that isn't going to give you answers that would determine your treatment. And, Dr. Rabb and I talk about this a lot of the times. Like sometimes it really is about the simple stuff. Like, okay, what are you eating? Well, if you're eating Twinkies and Ho-Hos every single day, if you're eating, the all carnivore diet, like, what do you think is going to happen to your liver and your intestinal tract? Why don't we start with some of the basics? So I like to individualize my treatment protocols for the people who come in to see me. And that makes all the difference. Dr. Rabb, I would love for you to weigh in on that one too before we go on with the testing.
Well, that's basically the first thing I do now because of some of the things that have kind of gotten away from me right now. I just talk to them about the lifestyle because I want to know what they're doing and what are they doing on a daily basis. And so many of the people, when you talk to them about certain, foods that they should be consuming and things that they should stay away from, etc., they look at you real strange because then they tell you, well, I don't like that. It'll go to that. And for me right then, I just say, well, if your interest is getting your health back, you have to start doing healthy things. You can't just you go somewhere and ask for some pills or some whatever, because I don't even like doing that. If you don't really want to take the time to work on your body or to learn some things, read something and, get some type of grip on this. And so many people that come here, those who've been before and got help, then they'll come in and I get all kinds of accolades and all this from people that I don't even remember now. But then there are also those who walk in first time up. Just a few days ago, there's a gentleman called that said he had cancer. I want to know, do you treat it? I said, I don't treat anything. We're not in the treating business. I said, we will, talk to you and see what you are doing and see if we can assist you in getting back on the right track with what's going on with your body. So it's a lot of that. Yeah, it's a lot of things that people just want you to just jump right in it and you got all the answers right there. No, I got some questions. I want to know
Exactly.
What are you doing?
And what's funny is they'll go around and finally meet someone that'll give them the stuff on the spot over the phone.
That's
That
right.
being said, we're going to take a commercial break. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show, and we'll be right back.
Hey there, Detox Jenny here. Is your digestion poor, painful, or just plain stuck? If so, please consider doing a short 3 to 10 day juice cleanse with my company, Earthly Juices. You can visit us at bringmejuice.com. You will be surprised what a difference a short cleanse can make within your body and your overall well-being. Our organic farm-to-table juice cleanses are handcrafted to exclude your allergies and geared towards solving your health issues. Call 310-404-6804 and mention this show and receive a free quart of juice with your first order. You can also find us at www.bringmejuice.com, or you could write us your detox questions at earthlyjuices@gmail.com. We can't wait to bring that juice to your doorstep.
I tell myself again and again, I'm happy about my favorite juice from Jen. I tell myself again and again, well, Earthly Juices, they make the best juice cleanse.
Hi, this is Dr. Nathan Rabb Jr., host of The Natural Way, which you can hear live on InnerlightRadio.com every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On The Natural Way, you will learn about alternative strategies to common medical practices to overcome some of the most common physical and mental maladies in the world today. The program is a live call-in show, so you can engage me by calling 310-928-7733 with your health-related questions. For private consultations, please call my office. That's at 310-419-4372. You can also reach me on the web at Dr. Dr. Nathan, Nathan, Rabb, Rabb.com. Be sure to tune in to The Natural Way every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, live on InnerlightRadio.com, the healing frequency. I'm Dr. Nathan Rabb. We see you on the air. Peace.
Historically, our ancestors lived 100% organic and natural, simply grazing off the green earth with fresh fruits and vegetables and blue oceans filled with seafood. Allowing your mind, body, and soul to be naturally healthy is how we were meant to live during this journey of our lives. We invite you to visit The Lifestyle Store. Once again, The Lifestyle Store, for all of your family's health and wellness needs. Simply click on The Lifestyle Store at www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, www.createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Keep this in mind. Health is the new wealth.
That's right. Health is the new wealth. We are live. If you'd like to call in, phone number is 310-928-7733. Once again, 310-928-7733 is the call-in number. This is the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We're talking about the mitochondria today. All right. So, Doc, with the time we have left, Dr. Franc, if we can get into the to improve the mitochondrial health. Let's flip it. Let's tell them how to get that sucker in shape.
Absolutely. Well, before we do that, I do want to point out that the organic acid test, the oats test, can be very helpful when you've done your due diligence and when it's used appropriately. It can be a very powerful tool, and it can tell us what's happening in what's called the Krebs cycle, which leads us up to the mitochondria, and it can take a look at what's happening with neurotransmitters, so some of the happy feel-good chemicals in your body. It can take a look at gut health. It can take a look at some of that oxidative stress. So you can find out what is happening with respect to the mitochondria and how much energy is being put out by the mitochondria, and that can be very important when you have a health condition where your medical doctor or your naturopath or whatever, your primary health care, whoever your primary health care practitioner is, when they've kind of said, okay, we've ruled out the things that are a disease process, and so we know we're looking at something cellular. And that's when this type of testing becomes very, very important. If you already are healthy and want to take your health to that next level, and you're talking about performance. So yeah, I'm healthy. There's nothing wrong with me. But I know I want to be leaner in terms of my body fat percentage. I know I want to live longer. I know I want to perform better. I want to be as healthy and energetic and vibrant in my 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s as I was in my 20s, 30s. That's when you look at something like an OAT test, and it can be absolutely phenomenal for taking you to that next level, or for really identifying a disease process that is just beginning and hasn't become a disease yet. So that's where I think that's really important. So with respect to improving mitochondrial health, foods that have a lot of vitamins and minerals and that are anti-inflammatory, absolutely critical. So the B vitamins in particular, we know those are so critical for that entire Krebs cycle. And then I talked about as well, there's a type of food or a supplement that you can get that's called acetylcholine. And acetylcholine.
We'll have to put that on our Facebook page under the comment section for today.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so acetylcholine is so important for brain health. And there's actually something called L-carnitine, which can be really helpful as well. And that can be found in different types of meat products. And that can help to shuttle fat into the mitochondria so that you can use that. And that has been shown as well to help people in terms of increasing their energy, increasing their brain performance, preventing Alzheimer's, as well as leaning out. So the foods that you eat, yes, high quality foods, natural, not processed, not packaged, the type of foods that you choose as well. People who stay away from fats thinking that it'll make you fat, there are essential fats and there are good fats that can actually help improving mitochondrial function. So those are some things that are really absolutely critical. As I was saying earlier, CoQ10, having some of your minerals, making sure you have enough iron, copper, those are really important as well. So getting all of the nutrients from the food is critical. So yes, you have to start with, hey, let's eat real food, and organic and grown in season and local is always best. But then you also have to look at, well, how are you breaking them down and digesting them? So you have to make sure that you've got good stomach acid, that you've got good pancreatic enzymes, so that you can bring those into the body. And that's where some of the gut health happens as well. So,
you know what? I'm going to put a crazy idea in front of you. I think, and I've never been on a dating site in my life, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that these health questions should be part of the dating app. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, that would be so fun. Let's find a way to do that. I think we could probably, swipe right, swipe left. And then I think what we could do as well, I think actually it would be fun to make that into a dating game. Those who are interested in health, let's all get together. Oh, you're interested in health too. That's so fun.
You know what I think? It would leave a person's question and pressure of asking, if I date you, if I get sick, will you take care of me? Because in these dating app questions, I think you would find out, what kind of person you're dealing with. What's wrong, Doc?
I couldn't help it. I sneezed, and then you said that.
Dr. Rabb's out. He doesn't like this app.
I think it's important because, it's on everyone's mind, especially when you're over 50.
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
And
Dating?
Anti-aging.
No, the status of the health person you're talking to.
Oh, okay.
Well, It does say, those vows, if you decide to get married, for richer or for poorer, for good health or bad health, right? So it's like, let's make sure you're richer and healther.
In the U.S., is the death do you part or something like that. I've been down the aisle, but yeah, and then after that it says, "So help me God."
Well,
right.
It's kind of an interesting concept because, what happens if you're a very strong vegan or plant-based, and then you start dating someone who's keto or paleo? How are you going to navigate that space? Good to know ahead of time.
Or owns a barbecue joint,
Right.
But I just
whole factory.
I just think with this COVID and everything, I think it's way more on their mind than before,
It should be.
Yeah, I think it's, maybe, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Doc. I think we can find something.
I think as well, I think it's really important that people take their health in this day and age much more seriously because, one of the things that we've been finding with COVID globally is we hear this all the time. Oh my gosh, our emergency room departments, our hospitals are really just overloaded, and we can't handle the burden. And so our healthcare workers are getting burnout, and I want to support the healthcare workers. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are in that hospital who don't actually have to be because they didn't take care of their health, so they got sick. But if they took care of their health, they wouldn't be so sick and there wouldn't be such a strain on you guys. I also think our healthcare workers are really vastly underpaid and deserve more pay.
Yeah. I just had that thought there.
Yep. I'll support that.
All right. We'll discuss that. I'm just putting this in your message. Just to make sure we discuss that this week. So I think it needs to be done. And I'll turn it into some digital form.
I think it would be hilarious. Learn about nutrition, learn about your partner. Oh, and I think, so, there's a comedian out there named Dave Hemstad, and I just love him as a comedian. And he did a bit a long time ago about teen sleep and, how important it is for couples to have the same sleep schedule, because he does a whole little bit about how, you got to get on board when you have a new relationship with your girlfriend and teen sleep. And so, I think that, if you have someone who, you're going to bed at, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's when they're getting up, you want to know about that as well. And so we talk about, stress reducing habits and sleeping habits, kind of important if you're looking at, long-term dating. Hey, are we simpatico on this level?
That could cause a lot of stress.
It could cause a ton of stress.
Before it was very interesting in life because it seemed like your workplace and your job kind of ran everything. Now it's what's indigenous to me. You know what I mean? So are we turning into a narcissistic society?
What do you mean turning into? I think we passed go a long time ago. We collected the $200.
This thing is, boy, I've seen some people. I remember back in the past, someone got mad and just walked off the table, but now everybody does it. You know what I mean? They get pissed off and they just get up and leave. Like, what? There's no negotiation. There's no nothing.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
They're turning over tables like the Judice on that one women's show. When I saw that for the first time, I said, Jesus, I've never seen women act like this before. She flipped that table over, man, and I tell you, everyone was running for their life.
Well, and I think because of the stress, it's affected our mitochondria. That's really affecting our ability to think clearly, right?
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But I do think that people need to discuss what's happening. You know what I mean? I think they ought to get the more common questions out of the way. You know, I think that people should ask what's on their mind. If they're thinking it, I think they should ask it.
Yeah, I'm all for people being able to express their opinion. And, you know, I am very saddened by people who, you know, they just don't feel that if you express an opinion that's different than their own, that you don't have a right to exist on this planet, or that, you know, they get upset about that and walk away. It's like, no, we can agree to disagree. I'd love to have a discussion about it.
Not anymore. All right, here we go from Dr. J. Should we also screen out potential dates for their overall immune system? Who can afford to be involved with someone that's sick all the time?
See, no, I don't agree with that. No.
That came from Dr. J.
There are so many people out there that I know that are patients of mine that, for example, let's say have an autoimmune condition and their immune system is affected and compromised, but they're not like sickly, or maybe sometimes they are, but that doesn't make them a bad partner. So no, I'm going to go with no on that one.
You know, until somebody goes through something, you know, they're just not willing to tolerate much until something happens to them. You know, something happens to them, they become a lot easier to deal with.
Absolutely.
It's, you know, someone has to go through something. I remember back when, you know, when people, the gays and the homosexual people were coming out and they didn't have one in their family. It wasn't until they had one in their family or they had a kid or someone close to them, then they were more tolerant, you know? And I don't think it should be that way with individuals, you know? You have to let people live.
Yeah, absolutely. And health is a wonderful thing. And, you know, as we're talking about this dating app, I'm talking about it kind of tongue in cheek. And I love it from the perspective of like, hey, if our routines are on the same page and we have shared common interests, that's great. But I wouldn't use it as a screen to say, you know, if someone has an exact opposite lifestyle than me, then I wouldn't date them and they're not a quality person and it wouldn't be a successful long-term relationship. We got to talk about the heart and
put the basics in there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but my saying is, less judging, more loving. That's right.
Absolutely, and seeing the heart of people, very important.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I put this post on my Facebook page the other day, and you know, people kind of warmed up to it. I found it, and I thought it was very interesting. Let me see if I can find it. What this little bit of time we have left, and it shows a picture. Let me read it. See if I can find it real quick. I thought it was really interesting because so many people. Oh, it's not going to let me find it. Oh, here it is. It says, while the world drives you crazy, there's someone waiting impatiently to heal you and make you happy. And it shows a picture of a little dog looking at a door. And next to the door, there's an umbrella, little holder, you know what I mean? So they're waiting for the person to come through the door, and the little doggy's just sitting there waiting. And I thought it was just the coolest thing. While the world drives you crazy, there's someone waiting impatiently to heal you and make you happy. And I don't even own a dog, you know what I mean? And I thought that was very touching. All right, we're out of time. Listen, great show. Dr. Val, Dr. Rabb, this is wonderful. Dr. Brookh will be back with us next week. So have a great week out there, everyone. Mitochondria is what we discussed today. Hope you got something out of that. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Peace and love.
Yes, sir.
Take care.
Thank you for joining us on the Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We are a globally hosted show dedicated to sharing holistic lifestyle events, practitioners, products and services, and useful information. Visit our website, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Once again, createyourholisticlifestyle.com. Of course, our Facebook page is Create Your Holistic Lifestyle Show. We will see you next week.
Namaste.